Hi, welcome back. This was the site that greeted me and my old ageing friends on our bike ride along the River Wandle yesterday. This mindless violence on one of the bridges, the new wooden bridges that have been built on our little river. The useless miscreants that do this sort of thing steal a motorbike and set it on fire and cause that amount of damage to one of our lovely wooden bridges. Sad, isn't it? This day and age in UK, that's the downside. Right, okay, so enough of that. Those of you that follow my channel will know the River Wandle that I paint many times. I'm going to do this now. I'll have a go at this. I make no apology for saying that these sort of views are my favourite. There are a lot of possibilities. I took this on that bike ride yesterday with my friends along the Wandle. This is Malden Hall Park and it's called Wetlands. It's a very large park in South London, Wimbledon, Malden. A very lovely park near Merton Abbey, which is our sort of destination for a cup of tea before we return. And I just love painting these sorts of things. They're simple really, but to try to make them interesting, that is always a challenge. There are lots of bulrushes along here which you can't really see. But anyway, there's enough in there to make a simple statement. Don't try to paint every blade of grass or leaf on the trees. Just paint a few of them and use large masses as your sort of artistic statement, if that makes sense. Right, I've come up to my board. I'm painting a bit of watercolour paper that I bought online a couple of years ago. Well, it's okay. It's not a great piece of watercolour paper. It's very slick, so I'm just using it up really. I hope we've got enough light on the screen there. Right, let's put that aside. Open my palette. I use a lot of black and yellow as my main shortcuts to greens. I also use either Viridian or sap green, which I'm getting used to as I use more of it. There's my palette, the Masterson Stay Wet palette. Lovely. They're marketed by Chroma Colour, and they're wonderful, wonderful palettes. Very, very durable. I've had this one for 25 years, I think, 20 years, 25 years. And all I need to buy are the membranes, packs of membranes, which let the water through from underneath. They're just this sort of paper, kitchen towel, underneath it, a few layers, and then just spray with water every so often to keep the paints moist. The membrane allows the moisture to come through, keep the paints moist, but the paint doesn't slip through the other way and go onto the, with the exception of cerulean, that seems to penetrate the membrane, but that's not a problem. Right, okay, so using mostly the Wilkinson's cheap acrylics, 200ml tubes. I'm not one for spending huge amounts of it on paint if I can get them cheap. Acrylic is acrylic. Oh, can't get these off, they're stuck. Right, squeeze out some white. Use more white than anything. This is a half litre pot of Galleria at Windsor and Euston. They last for a long time, and I've got another one ready to go when this one runs out. Okay, the inch flats, that's my main brush for this. I've not primed this, I'm just going to go straight on with it. I'm going to get some black and some yellow and just mix a bit of red in and just put in some paint, and we'll have a sort of fairly horizon across here. And then a smaller tree on the other side as a balance. A bit darker on the horizon. And here. This is all shadow area, put a bit of blue in there, I think. Okay, well I'll put some darker notes in the mass of reeds and grasses. Alright, okay. So yellow ochre and mixed with a bit of sap green for some nice grassy colours. You can use viridian for this as well. It mixes very well with ochre. And we can make that nice by adding a bit of white. Let's get lots of contrast in this. This is sort of an abstract. Okay, when that dries, I can do the sky, the trees, and just bring the sky into the trees and the trees into the sky to keep everything soft. But I've got a nice rich green on the horizon, a bit of red. I might make that a bit blue to give a bit of distance, and in fact I will, if I remember. Right, okay, I think that's fairly dry. It's a bit wet up the top there, so we'll just work on the dark to light. You can work whichever way you want. With watercolour you work from obviously light to dark, but with acrylic or oil you can work any way you like. But I want to put in some shadows. So black, blue, just putting in shadows. If I lean across, it's because I'm, oh, you can't see me, I hope you can't see me. Get a nice light ochre to show, or even umber. Oh, there's my palette. This is just the greeny, grassy. So that's nice. Put a bit more green in there. Just let it bring these bits of grass come up into the dark, shadowy trees in the background. Not sure I've don't know what I was going to say there. Right, bit of green in this for some. Let's drag over some of this. I'll drag the sky over this in a moment. Great brushes these. I'm going to lose a hair or two. I can put in some sky back into this. I'll just use the same over here. I don't know if I've got a mount for this. Let's have a look in a minute. Okay, let's do some sky now. So yesterday was a very bright day, lovely day. So nice blue. Don't worry about picking up a bit of loose paint. That's not a problem. This is only laying in at the moment. Now I want to put in some, I like a bit of warmth from the horizon. This is a demonstration in simply, or painting a mundane scene that a lot of people would miss. But it has all the elements of a landscape. There's lovely trees, light shining through. They bring the sky into the trees and the trees into the sky. The light into the darker shadow areas. So let's get in some nice greens now. Just work on all over the picture. It gives you a chance to let things dry off. But you need the dark to counterchange the light against. If you want something to look lighter, put it next to something dark. So we're just creating a surface of paint at the moment. I'll put a bit of blue in the background, I think. A bit of bluey green. That's not quite blue enough, is it? Let's find a bit on the palette that's clean. Put some blue behind there. Okay, that's coming up. So I want some dark shadow now. Back in there, so I'll over enhance it or over emphasize it. Plenty of colour, blue, black, red, a bit of that crimson. Then I can counterchange the light grasses over that. Okay, that's good. Now we'll get some dark in here, some dark red. A bit of crimson, a little bit of yellow in there. It's a nice warm shadowy colour in there. Then we can counter change the lights against that. There's a bit here. Now we've got a bit of some grass and some green stuff there. It's not a hill or anything. This is all flat land. It's very close to the water table. That's why it's all wetland. It's not salt marsh. It's all fresh water from the Wanderell Valley. Right, I want some nice light green now. So yellow, white, evoker. See how that shows up against the dark background? Let's enhance it a bit, let's brighten it up even more. White. I'm using just the row hairs on the brush sticking out, just touching gently. Look, it's all sort of rough. You can even just split it up a bit. And just keep going over and over. We'll go back to the trees then. Is that green? So one brush painting. I've got a better brush that does that. Well, I've got several of them. I've got these quite big Chinese bristle brushes. Let's have a go with one of them. Right, a little touching for these grasses. Look. Don't get stuck on using riggers or fine brushes to do this. Use the biggest brush, but use bits of the brush. Just to give that grassy effect. It's a shortcut. Right, let's go in with some light on that horizon now. Right, I want to get that shadow back in there now. Into this to get that contrast of it, so I'll use the blue and red. This all dries very quickly in this temperature at the moment. This lovely dry weather we're having. Don't overdo your foregrounds. We're not looking at the foreground, we're looking at that. Nice. I'll go back to the other brushes now and put in some different colours in there, some different greens. Got to do the sky. Right, now get that dark green in there now. Still looking at the photograph, but I'm painting from experience. These sort of trees are almost silhouetted against the sky. Still not enough brilliance in that green. So just a sap green, white and a bit of ochre. Trying to create these different planes. I might even put some wildflowers in the foreground as a bit of a device. Like, let's go back into the sky now and strengthen that up. Paint the sky down to the landscape here. Seems to have a greater impact when you paint the sky down to the masses of vegetation. Just opening it all up now. Right, let's put in some of this sky back in. No branches or, well, maybe the odd one, but just masses, just painting masses. Just bend that a little bit. Get a little bit of warm in there. Might be back to a bit of watercolour after these. It's 3 acrylics. I know a lot of you like acrylics, but some of you prefer watercolours, so I have to look after everybody. Right. I'm going to use this big brush, this inch brush, this long Chinese one, just if I can put in some sparkle. A little bit stilted. Right, let's put I will put a couple of dark. This all says tree. Now, without trying to overdoing it, some of these. show a bit of tangle, not too much. I'll leave the pylon, the electrical pylon out of that. Get some light green in there. And some dark back. Putting in this contrast with the against that light bit here. I got a bit lost there. Right, I will put a little bit of dark in the dark trunk. Having said don't use the rigger, just don't overuse the rigger. Okay, well that's a meadow. Let's put in some wild flowers, just some little hints, little touches. Clean my palette off after this. It's getting a bit dirty, and I'm not ready to change the palette. A few poppies here and there. Like, there won't be too many because it's all wet here, but hey. Still adds just a little bit of interest to the foreground. And some blue. Okay, well that'll do. Let's see if I can find a mount to put it in. Before I do, I just want to clip it so that I can mount, or even if I can find a mount, flat. Okay, bear with me. Slightly bigger. I've got a slightly bigger one. What's this one? Well, that's a nice one, isn't it? Well, there we are. So, a meadow on Morden Hall Park, South London, in the Wandrel Valley. And I'll just keep that flat on the bottom. So, there we are. A simple meadow painting, not as simple as it looks, trying to make things interesting. I've, as you can see, I've used a bit of blue there, just to stretch the landscape back into some sort of distance. Let's just come out of it a little bit, get the whole, whoops, well, yeah, there we are. So basically it's just a mass of foliage that we've tried to simplify and make a painting of it. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.